Most extreme venue you have ever played. In 2009, I moved to Romania and I ended up joining this pop band, and the very first show that I played with them was in this like really weird mansion in the Romanian Delta. It's just like the Delta here in Louisiana, just swampland and a lot of, you know, fishing and pontoon boats and hovercraft vehicles and stuff like that. And this was in July, in the middle of summer. There were insects about this big, different kinds, mosquitoes like this big, just flying around everywhere. We played outside, okay, it was a private event. So as I'm playing the show, my first show ever, and I just like learned these songs and I'm trying to like do my best, you know, to like show these dudes that I'm good at what I do. There's mosquitoes. I see these giant mosquitoes just like get on my arm. I can see them sucking the blood out of me while I'm playing, and I'm trying to swat them off, and then there's all these huge dragonflies like flying into my face, and the whole time, it was an hour and a half of just trying to get bugs off of me. By the end of the night, I just had bug bites everywhere. None of my bandmates had bug bites because they thought it would be funny to not give me bug spray, you know, like a hazing type of deal. That was definitely the most stressful and painful and most extreme. Most extreme member of the band, I would say that Pui is the most extreme member in the band. Not only does he have the loudest personality, but he has most eccentric wardrobe in the band. He just wears mesh shorts all of the time and t-shirts that he's had since he was probably 15, because I've seen pictures of him when he was a kid and he's wearing the same freaking t-shirts. Most extreme traveling experience, when we flew over from the US to Europe, we got to the airport in London, waited there for about an hour, got all of our luggage, jumped into a van that we rented. The guy met us at the airport. The driver's side was on the right side of the road, or right side of the vehicle. We had to drive on the left side of the road. It was a stick shift, and it was like, go. You know, didn't get any sleep. Jason and I drove, 6 hours driving through London rush hour traffic, and we drove 6 hours through England, through Wales, until we got to a ferry that took us over to Ireland. Got on the ferry, went to Ireland, had a time to relax for a couple hours maybe, and then had to go straight to the venue. Most extreme onstage incident, about 10 years ago in an old band of mine, we were playing a show and the singer in the band that I was in at the time thought it was a good idea to knee me in the balls as hard as he could while I was concentrating on playing, which kind of forced me to lose my balance, and I fell backwards into all of the backline equipment and I knocked everything over. Like everything. My equipment, the band that was playing after us, their equipment, it all just fell over. And I think I broke like 4 or 5 guitar heads that night. Most extreme change that happened since starting the band. When I decided to join Wilson, I was living in Romania still at the time, so I had to kind of just quickly pack up my life and start over again and fly back. And then I had like, as soon as I got here, we played a couple shows, and then we went on a short tour, and then I had to fly back for my wedding. And the day after my wedding, I flew back again, did like a month-long tour with Wilson, and then I didn't see my wife for like 7 months. So that was pretty extreme. Most extreme drug-related story or experience. When I was in my early 20s, aside from touring in a couple bands, I was also working at a venue in the Metro Detroit area, and there was a particular really famous like grind metal band. I'm not going to say the name because there's illegal activity involved. And I was stage managing at the venue. Also that night, I guess I was the drug runner. So they show up and they tell, you know, venues, there's someone that can get me, you know, these certain illicit illegal substances that I would really like to have. And they're like, oh, James can help you out, because, you know, I'm like, what? Okay, cool. The guy gives me $1,000 and he said, just get me as much, you know, hard drugs as you can for this amount of money. So I drove into Detroit. I went to some people that I knew, got what they wanted, brought it back to the venue, and then he insisted that I did all of it with him that night. Most extreme equipment failure or gear incident. We get to Ireland to play our first show in Dublin. Still haven't slept, none of us have slept. Hook up all the equipment that we, essentially it was nothing more backline that we were using. So it's not even my stuff, it's not even stuff that I rented, it's someone else's stuff. I get up to play the show, 2 songs in, for the very first European show, the bass head just explodes, like smoke and all that. And that was pretty stressful and extreme and frustrating. I was trying to fix it for like two or three songs. I went and grabbed a backup head, which didn't work. Tried to move a bunch of cables around and figure out how I could make things work. At one point I got so frustrated I went off stage into the back and just started screaming at the top of my lungs. Most extreme!